In 2009, SHEN NGO presented a project proposal for the contest announced by the GEF Small Grants Programme implemented by UNDP Armenia. The goal of the GEF Small Grants Programme is to support the solution of global ecological problems within GEF focus. The proposal presented by SHEN NGO, Introduction of Sustainable Land Use and Biodiversity Conservation Practices in the Dprabak community of Gegharkunik Region, was successful through all the stages of the contest, and in 2010 was approved by the National Managing Committee of UNDP GEF. Having found the problems characteristic to this region in the Dprabak community, SHEN NGO saw the solution of the restoration of uncultivated, degraded land and uniting the population of the community around one common idea. In the beginning, SHEN NGO specialists visited the Dprabak community to get to know the community problems better and to choose the area for the community orchard. Accompanied by the community mayor and a few municipality employees, they visited the land plot planned for the community orchard. The positioning of the orchard as well as other questions such as distance of the irrigation was discussed. Landslides are a major issue in the community. They cause great damages not only to houses and the surrounding lands but also to arable lands and the pastures. One of the causes of landslides is negative anthropogenic impact of locals. One of the objectives of the project is to raise the awareness of the population on landslides prevention through seminars, informational leaflets, and the most important, through the example of the cultivation of the newly established orchard. The following fruit trees are cultivated in the Dprabak: pear, apple, plum, along with berries and walnut. However, the harvested fruit is not competitive and thus not appropriate for market due to its low quality characteristics and marketable appearance. One of the main purposes for establishing the orchard is that the community population will be presented how to correctly cultivate the orchard and thus receive high quality produce. In addition to this, one of the purposes is to introduce organic production in the community, since this region has all the necessary favorable conditions for organic production. A community meeting was organized during which the community population was presented the implemented project and the goal of the project. Also, a seminar was held on organic agriculture, since the orchard will be cultivated through the organic method. The community population was rather interested in this new initiative. On all the roads leading to the community orchard as well as on the neighboring area of the orchard, signs have been placed. The plan of the future orchard was developed along with types of the trees, the planting scheme and the quantities. Upon the completion of these preparatory activities, the work on the establishment of the orchard commenced. The first activity was melioration, in which the community population also participated using the agricultural mechanization belonging to the community. Despite the unfavorable rainy weather which lasted a few weeks, the community members involved in the melioration activities were rather enthusiastic. The stones were collected around the edges of the orchards and were later used for fencing. Fertilized with manure, the area of the orchard was plowed crosswise in order to loosen the upper herbaceous vegetation layer of the soil. Amongst the important activities was the fencing of the orchard, since the neighboring cattle breeding farms graze their cattle in this area. The fence ensures safe growth and development for the newly planted trees. The holes were dug according to the calculated scheme, after which the iron pipes were planted with concrete. Around 900 meters of metal fence was needed for the fencing of the orchard. The community members working in the orchard took the job seriously. After all, the orchard will belong to the community. One of the key conditions for the establishment of the orchard is the irrigation. In this regard, SHEN specialists along with the hydromelioration specialists and the community mayor analyzed the stream leading the water from the river to the orchard, based on which the irrigation network scheme was developed. The irrigation stream was cleaned, partly dug and widened by the community members. The hydromelioration specialists calculated and presented the internal irrigation network scheme of the orchard as well as the necessary budget. A grit removal reservoir was built with the suggestion of the hydromelioration specialist. The most important activity was construction of the internal irrigation network. One of the purposes of the establishment of this community orchard was to introduce the community population to the correct soil cultivation, as well as methods of improving soil quality and preventing soil erosion and landslides. One of the activities to maintain soil quality and prevent soil erosion and landslides is correct irrigation. For this purpose, it was decided to irrigate the orchards through an internal irrigation network. A specialist was invited to connect the pipes, for which a special machine was used. Within the scope of the project, a seminar was organized for school children from Dprabak and 5 neighboring communities. During the seminar, presentations were made on organic agriculture, biohumus production, and diagnosis of some agricultural animal diseases. During the seminar, SHEN NGO distributed threads to the school children as a humanitarian assistance. After the seminar, the whole group moved to the area of the orchard where they observed a demonstration on biohumus preparation methodology. The school children were not only watching but also participating in the activities of biohumus preparation. After this, the school children of all communities planted blackberry bushes, each with a label of their community. This event was significant since these were the first plantings in the area of the orchard, and the children were thus starting the planting activities in the orchard. During the project, 2 brochures were published about organic agriculture and composting. The following activities will be implemented in the next stage of the project. Internal irrigation network will be completed. The planting of fruit trees will be carried out in autumn 2010. The Dprabak Social Development Foundation will be founded. Information booklets on erosion, wild picking will be published. Seminars will be held. The following activities will be implemented in the next stage of the project. Internal irrigation network will be completed. The planting of fruit trees will be carried out in autumn 2010. The Dprabak Social Development Foundation will be founded. Information booklets on erosion, wild picking will be published. Seminars will be held.